the Italian Football Podcast.
Italy are through though, so let's preview the last 16 on Saturday. Italy against Switzerland, who are the runners-up of Group A. They're unbeaten. They got 5 points from their 3 games. They beat Hungary 3-1 in the first match. Very impressive performance. Then they drew 1-1 with Scotland, and in the same score, 1-1 with Germany. They very nearly topped the group. They were winning 1-0 for much of that game against Germany. They played fantastic. Only for Germany substitute Niklas Füllkrug to equalise in injury time, which allowed Germany to win the group. Otherwise, Italy would have been playing Germany. So let's look at how good Switzerland are. First of all, as I said, I think they were excellent in their first and third games. Not so good against Scotland, but they are a very well organised and well drilled team. Germany really struggled to create against them. Switzerland took a deserved lead, and Doy who scored and was also inches away from making it 2-0 and had a second goal. So they played 3-4-2-1. I mean, they are a very well organised and very well drilled team. Is the best way that I would describe them, and I think they have more weapons offensively than Croatia do. So I think it's going to be a very, very difficult game, Nima.
I couldn't agree more. I think you're absolutely right. I think Switzerland have been really, really good. They've been one of the better teams in this tournament, and they've got good players. And they have players who play at big clubs and are important at big clubs. You have the Bologna block and the Serie A influence that
they've been all of them great.
I saw
Bologna
really
lads.
They've been all Bologna players. I have to say, I saw that Bologna players or players from Bologna are the ones that have scored the most and assisted the most this tournament.
Really?
Out of all the clubs. I think 6 goals and 5 assists from Bologna players this tournament. Yeah.
Wow.
I saw a stat on that. Like it's just they have been brilliant this tournament, Bologna players. So yeah, look, it's look, so they've got quite a few Bologna players in that team.
Three.
Then you have Akanji, who
he's great.
Very good. He's
a monster. Good. Yeah, he's been so underrated for a long time. I've always been a big fan of Akanji.
I know you have, and Jan Sommer, who I think has made howlers.
He got away with one, didn't he?
He got away with one against Germany, but we all know that he's the thing about Sommer that I absolutely love is if you're going to teach mental strength of a goalkeeper to someone, I'd use Jan Sommer, because if he makes a mistake, he immediately has that ability to just brush it off and then pull off a magical save. That's mental strength, to not let one mistake kind of drag you along for the rest of the game. Sommer does this over and over again. He can make a mistake, but it doesn't bother him because he just brushes it off and goes into the next situation and pulls off a miracle save. And he's done it at Inter for quite some time. Or he's done it all at Inter for many times last season, and he's done it throughout his career. And you see it at Switzerland as well, that yes, he can make a mistake, but that doesn't bother him because he can then turn up and pull off one of those crazy cat-like reflex saves.
Yeah. They're good. They're very solid in centre midfield. Freuler and Xhaka are very, very... Yeah. They don't give much away, and they've both been great in this tournament. Ebisha from Bologna has been fantastic. But Dan Ndoye is the one that's really broken out, because I said since the start of the season that he has the attributes. He has the pace, he has the dribbling, he works hard, and he has the quality. He's a very raw player, very raw talent. But what has let him down for Bologna this season, and he only scored 1 goal for Bologna, which was right near the end of the season as well. His final product and his finishing has really let him down. Like he bit like kind of like Adeyemi, the Germany player, like really got that pace and drive, but lets himself down with the final ball. But the raw talent is there, and it's like in this tournament he started to have a final product, and he showed that he showed that in the group against Germany, especially. He scored the goal with a really, really good finish actually. So he is going to be dangerous because he's got that explosiveness about him that can cause. And they've actually got some explosive players like Mbolo's quick. Okafor hasn't played much at all. I'm not sure if he's played at all, but if he comes on, he's a dangerous player. So they have got some weapons that we have much more than Croatia, because that was the thing about Croatia. Croatia just had nothing in attack. They couldn't stretch us. They were never going to put balls in behind. We never had to worry about what was going over the top of us or anyone running into the channels. We just had to basically defend our box, defend crosses, defend those pockets on the edge of the area kind of stuff. that would be different against Switzerland. There's always going to be a threat, in the game. So yeah, it's going to be a difficult game. Their probable 11, someone will play in goal. It will be Fabian Schär, Akanji, and Ricardo Rodriguez will be the three centre backs. Freuler and Xhaka will play at centre midfield. Ebisha will play definitely as the kind of more the left-sided midfielder. Sylvain Widmer is suspended, so he will be replaced. I'm not sure who will come in for him. Then Dan and Doy will definitely play. Then it is kind of like a question mark, like who the two supporting attackers will be. One could be Ndoye. If it is him, the other would be either Reeder, who played the last game, Ruben Vargas, or Shaqiri, who's still around and actually scored a great goal against Scotland.
Yeah, he did.
Or Ndoye could play up front, or actually Mbolo, who started the last game, could play as the attacker, and Ndoye playing as a supporting attacker. So there's a bit of uncertainty there, but there is quality.
What's his name? Milan Okafor.
Yeah, Okafor. Yeah, he hasn't played. I'm not sure if he's played at all yet in this tournament, but he's there and he's a weapon. I mean, I like him.
I like him too, but yeah. I've not seen any injury reports on him. But you never know with him, do you?
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. But obviously, look, we know them well. They know us well. They World Cup 2022 nightmares. They did it. They come above us in our group. All I will say is this, Nima: if we get a penalty, do not let Jorginho take it. That's all I will say. After you missed those two penalties in the World Cup.
No, look, I think they're a good side, and I think that potentially, I think they could knock Italy out. If I'm perfectly honest. Because,
but we can also beat them. Like, let's put it this way: Germany would kill us. Would have killed us.
Germany would rip Italy limb by limb apart. It would be a slaughter.
Thank God for that last minute, that last second equalizer.
No. Germany would just rip, like it would look like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like they would just destroy this Italy side. So no. This is I think it's going to be tough. I think this could go to 120 minutes, possibly even penalties.
Oh God!
I think it's because I think these are two teams that are fairly well balanced, and I think that then it really is a toss up for me who wins it. I couldn't tell you. I think I'd even go say that Switzerland are slight favourites, but I will tell you this: if Italy get to the quarterfinals, then no one can complain.
Yeah,
results wise. The question then becomes, okay, you've completed what was asked of you. You finished second in the group and you got to the quarterfinals. That's what we can ask of you. From here on out, to move on to a semi, to a final, that is the next step, and that's the most difficult step.
Yeah, and that's probably going to be a step too far. But
this tournament, yes,
probably going to be a step too far.
What I mean by that is that I think I'm okay with that, because it provides Spalletti and this team with something to build on, something to look forward when looking to the future, and that I think is the most important.
Well, if we just look ahead just to this game, I don't want to have another long debate over what formation we play. So everybody that's listening to just the preview of this game, because we've clicked this up just as a Italy-Switzerland preview. So for those of you who are just listening to the preview, listen to our full show where we have a long debate over the 3-5-2 versus back four. So I don't want to debate that now over whether we should play the 3-5-2 or go back to a 4. It's too early right now to say what our probable 11 will be, but I think the only guarantees, Nima, are those 4 players we mentioned before that have carried Italy in the tournament. Donnarumma, Calafiori suspended. So Donnarumma, Bastoni and Barella, along with, I would say, Di Lorenzo, because I can't see him dropping Di Lorenzo. I think those four are the only guarantees for me.
He's never going to drop Di Lorenzo after referring to him as his son, which is
other than those 4, Nima, I think they're the only 4 absolute guarantees, because if you look around the rest of the team, I mean, Di Marco, as we've said,
he needs to be benched.
Di Marco looks dead. Calafiori suspended. So Buongiorno or Mancini will come in for him. Jorginho, we know that he can't play too many games in succession. I mean, I would expect him surely to play because of lack of alternatives, but he could be exhausted. It's not impossible. He could be rested. Pellegrini, I mean, I don't know if he would start. And then you got Raspadori and Retegui as the attackers. I mean, they could possibly both be changed as well. So it's going to be it's difficult to say what Italy's 11 could be. This could be lots of changes.
We were recording this on Tuesday. The game's played on Saturday. I think it's just like the game, going into the Croatia game. I think he'll make up his decision as you'll push it until the very end.
Yeah,
I still think it's going to be a 3-5-2 because this is a knockout stage game, and you need to have defensive stability. I think he'll probably start Mancini or Darmian to the right, Buongiorno in the middle, Bastoni to the left. I think he'll start Di Lorenzo as a right wing back. He'll continue with that. I think it's going to be Barella, Jorginho, Pellegrini, and Cambiasso to the left. And then up front, I think he's going to continue with Retegui and Raspadori or Chiesa, one of the two. I don't think he'll start with Scamacca based on what he saw.
He didn't help himself, did he? With the
or he could play, if he wanted to bring on Zaccagni and play Zaccagni and Retegui.
Well, that's it. Yeah. Do you start Zaccagni?
I think he's deserved.
possibly.
You can't say that he doesn't deserve.
I think
to start.
you can't. You're not going to start Zaccagni if he plays a 3-5-2. You're not going to start Zaccagni because if you can't play him in a front two. But if you're playing a 4-2-3, if he goes back to the 4-2-3-1, I think you probably have to play Zaccagni. Play Zaccagni on the left. Play Chiesa on the right. You have to.
Well, you can play a 3-4-2. You can play a 3-4-2-1 as well. You can have Barella.
Yeah,
and
well, and play him as in the two behind the one, possibly.
Yeah.
But not impossible. But if you do that, I think he has to. He has to start. He has been.
Look,
I know he hasn't played many minutes, but he's actually been good in the few minutes that he's been given him in both games.
No one can say anything about Zaccagni starting at this point, given what the other attackers have
exactly.
Like, you cannot criticize him for starting Zaccagni. You just can't. Not when you have looked at the absolute cluster F of a performance from all four Italian attackers: Chiesa, Raspadori, Scamacca, Retegui.
Finally, Nima, final question: what can we target in this Switzerland team? For me, personnel-wise, Ricardo Rodriguez. I know he plays better for Switzerland, but let's be honest, his Serie A career has been pretty average, hasn't it?
I think on the wings, Widmer, Schär, Rodriguez, Ebischer, I think that's where you hurt them.
Widmer's suspended, by the way.
Yeah, sorry, yeah, you're right. But yeah, on the wings, I think it's on the wings where you can dominate, where you can probably overtake them. I think Freuler and Xhaka have been very good in midfield. It's going to be a very interesting central midfield matchup against Barella and Jorginho, who we all know are going to start. But so that's going to be key. And I think if Barella and Jorginho, as fantastically well that I think they did in the first half against Modric and Kovacic and Brozovic, who I thought was really good in this game.
He was very, very good, yeah.
It was the Brozovic of old. I think it was shades of the Brozovic of old. But if you can control that, if you can survive that and do well against that, you should be able to handle Xhaka and Freuler too. It's a very interesting midfield battle, but I think they should be able to do that. It's going to be a very interesting test. But I think that's where this is going to be won. And again, Switzerland, they're very well organized and they're tactically solid and they're actually very good at counter-attacking. I don't want to see Italy bum rushing this. I want them to be, because this is a knockout game. This isn't a group stage game. You don't need to chase the game from the first minute. You should impose yourself, absolutely, but you don't need to bum rush.
Yeah.
Be patient.
Well, they do play with a back three, so the back three may be more suitable than I believe it was for the Croatia game. But yeah, that's another debate. Finally, just before we finish off with a couple of club talking points, I just want to lay out what the route to the final is now, without looking too far ahead. But I think this is interesting because we are now in the bottom half of the draw, and we play Switzerland in the last 16. But on the top half of the draw, Spain, Germany, and Portugal, which means Italy can't play any of them till the final. France are currently also in the top half of the draw, although we're recording this before France play. If France win against Poland and better Holland's score, which I think they should do, then they will be on our side, which means we could play them in the semis. But if they come second, as they are currently, they will go on the other half too. Yeah. And England, again, we're recording this before the England game. England will be probably our quarter-final opponents if they win the group, which you expect them to do.
Against Slovenia, they've got.
Yeah, they've got Slovenia. So if England beat Slovenia, they will come top of their group, and then they will play a best third place team, which will almost certainly be either Austria or Holland, or Romania, Belgium, Slovakia. It'll be one of those. So basically, Italy will play Switzerland in the last 16. If we get through that, we will play the winner
Probably
of Group
England.
C, which is probably England, or a best third place team that will play against the winner of Group C, which will be, as I said, Austria or Holland, or Romania, Belgium, Slovakia.
Yeah.
So
I think we can safely count that. From the way I see it, France and England are in the quarterfinals already. Like, that's just how I view it.
Well, not necessarily, because if England play Austria or Holland, there's about a 50-50 chance at the moment, whether they play Austria, Holland, or whether they play Romania, Belgium, Slovakia. We clear it after tonight who the best third place is. If they play Austria, Holland, that's not an easy game for England, the way England are playing. So, but I agree with you on France. On France, I agree with you. But that's not easy. But what basically the point I'm making is that as bad as we've been, it could potentially open up a little bit for us, I think. But again, it depends on the
You know what the
results.
title of this pod should be? It should be Carlo clutching for straws.
Yeah.
For 90
Can we
minutes.
not do that, Nima? Can we not do that?
This has been 71 minutes of you clutching at straws. Stop it. Let it go.
Well, listen. If England have got a bye to the semi-finals for like the last 3 tournaments, so can't we have a bye with a bad team and get like a bye to the semis for once? I mean,
No. Listen, just get past Switzerland.
Yeah, let's worry about Switzerland first, and then we can
exit with grace, because England against Italy in the quarterfinals, I'm not looking forward to that. I'm not looking forward to that.
Yeah, that is going to be some game.
I am not looking forward to that, like, at all. So, and if Spalletti is going to continue his war against, I don't know, the demons in his head, and this obsession, who's leaking, and whoever's leaking doesn't want the national team to do well, and all the nonsense that someone needs to find his medicine. They need to call Beppe Marotta and ask him what the correct mixture of the medicine is, so they get because he seems to be the mad person whisperer.
I feel a little bit sorry for Spalletti as well. I have to be honest. I can understand it. I can understand it to a bit. I think the pressure is getting to him, and he needs to behave. He needs to not let the pressure get into him, at least publicly, because I don't think the good comes out of that.
Look,
but I do feel sorry for him, because I look at the squad, the players he has available to him, and he's getting it in the neck from people, and I feel like, to an extent, it's like, what the hell can he do with these players?
I agree with that. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about how you communicate. I have no problems with people getting angry, okay? But you have to be able to communicate why you're angry. A 22-minute stream of consciousness, incoherent word salad, where literally no one in any language understands what the actual F you're talking about, where people wondering if you're drunk, then that's not a good way to communicate. That's what I'm talking about. Antonio Conte used to get pissed that could wake up and the wig didn't sit right and he used to have a meltdown. But at least he could speak in somewhat coherent sentences. Spalletti was just unhinged and was all over the place.
Okay, listen, we have to move on.